You know, God, he knows what you're going through. And he sees what you're going through. And he understands what you're going through. But your unwillingness to surrender to him, his process, his way, his exposure, is keeping you from experiencing the breakthrough that you're praying for. I have been dealing with a lot of shame and guilt throughout my whole life, and recently it's resurfaced. It's come back up. The enemy has been giving me dreams to remind me of my shame and my guilt, things that I've done in my past. And I have been literally in this place and in this space where not only has the enemy been trying to expose my weak areas and exploit my weak areas, but God has been exposing my weak areas as well. Now, the difference is the enemy has been trying to get me to stop in my tracks. The enemy has been trying to get me to believe that I'm unqualified because of the mistakes. The enemy has been trying to get me to come in agreement with who I used to be and what I used to do. The enemy has been trying to convince me that I'm not enough. But what God has been doing is taking those same exploits and using them to correct my thoughts, correct my behavior, align my thoughts and my emotions to him, to his word. He's been using those exploits for my good. He's literally been exposing my heart posture and exposing me and saying, you know, you've been dealing with this since you were a little kid. Now I want to heal it. Now I want to remove these idols. Now I want to remove these desires. Now I want to remove what was never supposed to be in there in the first place. And although it feels like the enemy is winning in the exploits because these memories and this trauma and this trigger is coming up, but oh Jesus, God is saying don't stay there. He's saying come up a little higher. Although the enemy is trying to exploit you, although the enemy is trying to get you to go back to who you used to be and think on the things that you used to think on, do the things that you used to do, believe the things you used to believe, God said come up a little higher. Understand that what he is exploiting, I'm actually trying to heal. And you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to have fear. You don't have to have anxiety. God literally was saying to me, you don't have to worry about me exposing you to everybody else, exposing your weaknesses to everybody else. I'm exposing your weaknesses to me. I'm exposing your weaknesses to you so that you can correct your behavior, so that you can understand that you need me in this process. God is saying like he's doing that so that he can further transform your mind. So he can remove the old, remove the idols and replace it with his peace. Replace it with new habits. Replace it with new mindsets. Replace it with authenticity. Because some of you all have been running from your past, unable to confront it, thinking that something bad is going to happen if you give in to it or if you revisit it. God is saying, although the enemy is trying to get you to revisit it, God is trying to get you to revisit it for him, for your benefit, for his glory, for your healing, for your transformation. The goal is not to exploit it. The goal is to expose it, reveal it, and then heal it. God is saying, don't be scared. Like, growth is necessary for where you're going. Growth is necessary. Becoming more aware of yourself. Becoming more aware of what you actually need him for is necessary. So the next time the enemy tries to exploit you, remind him that God is only using this to better you. Remind him that his outcome is not better than God's outcome. Remind him that God's strategy is better than his own strategy. Remind him that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Remind him that you are a new creation in Christ. Remind him that there is no condemnation in Christ. So those negative emotions, those negative feelings, those doubts and that shame and that guilt, that is not God. But God is still going to use it. He's still going to use all of that. He's going to use all of those hurtful things that you're experiencing right now. He's going to use it to heal you. He's going to use it to give you a new Jesus, a new identity. Because some of you all have been walking in this fake identity. You've been walking in this shameful identity, trying to mask what you did, trying to mask what you've said, trying to mask what you've believed. And God is saying you don't have to be afraid anymore to be your authentic self. You don't have to be afraid anymore. Let him take all of that. Like, let him just take all of that and replace it with his love and his concern for you and the knowledge and the wisdom of God and his healing power and his resurrective power. Like, God is redeeming you for all of the years that the enemy tried to take from you. See, some of that stuff, some of that guilt and that shame, you recognize that it only comes up during certain seasons. You realize that it only comes up when you're about to experience a breakthrough. You realize that it only comes up when you're about to enter into something new. It only comes up when you start feeling better about yourself, when you start walking in your newness. When you start to come out of your shell and be authentic, when you start experiencing your joy, here comes the enemy. God is literally saying, don't believe the lies, because the lies are going to keep you stuck. The lies are going to make you revert. The lies are going to make you give in to the negative and not hold on to the positive. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. God is giving you a new mind on today. He's giving you a new heart on today. He's cleansing you. He's cleansing you. He's giving you a new heart. He's removing the idols, the thing you idolized, the things that you desired, the things that you desired that weren't a part of his plan, that weren't a part of his original design, that weren't a part of his desires for you. He's removing it all. Jesus, he's wiping your slate clean. You have nothing to be ashamed of anymore. You have nothing to be scared of anymore. I know it feels like God is breaking you down, because he is. Those things can't go with you in the new thing. That shame, that guilt, that trauma, that unhealed trauma, those thoughts, those lies, that can't come with you in the newness. It can't follow the breakthrough. So although it feels like he's breaking you down, because he is, understand that he's building you back up. He's doing a new thing in you. Don't resist it, because the devil is trying to take over that process. Don't resist it. Let it happen. Speak life into yourself. Speak positivity into yourself during this process, because the lies are going to come up. But be brave to get through it. Be strong enough to believe and trust God in this process. You're going to make it through.